All right, I think we're back. I think we're good. I think we're good. Um, yeah, we are back, so we're good. Internet's all good now. I think I know what the issue is, so we got to make sure that that's ready to go. But everything should be fine now. Everything should be fine now. So now we're gonna actually talk about what we were talking about real quick, and just oops, not that. Now we're actually gonna go and talk about what we were talking about as we go into tonight, long term future and this whole winter storm system in general. I know we had a lot of chat from the last one, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get those. But what I can do is go on and send whatever you had inside of the last one. Go on and send it again if you want to go on and do so. But it seems like that we're all back. We're all ready to go here. So we're gonna just go on and skip over all that and just straight up just start talking about the weather because we're already like 60 minutes late at this point. So we're just gonna go on and start. So right now, currently throughout the state of South Carolina, absolutely nothing. It is nice and dry right now. But if we go on and scroll our way out, see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., we do in fact have some snowfall going on up here inside of South Dakota, Nebraska. We also do have some snowfall going on in Michigan, snowfall going on in Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, maybe even some rainfall going on up here inside the Pacific Northwest. And then up here in terms of snowfall, maybe some snow flurries up there inside the Northeast, Ohio Valley areas, but for the most part, looks relatively fine. Now, what about cloud cover? Well, cloud cover for right now actually seems more on the more cloudier side. We do, in fact, have cloud cover in like the Midlands, Low Country, PD areas, Grand Strand, Upstate. All areas have cloud cover right now as we speak. But if you go on and look at cloud cover for the future, we start off here at 9 o'clock p.m. and you push this forward. You go all the way to 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Going into tomorrow, cloud cover looks pretty much like it's still wanting to stay, except for maybe up there inside of the upstate a little bit, maybe the northern PD areas as well, as you go into around 6 o'clock in the morning here. You go all the way into around 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Cloud cover now kind of made a little bit of a transition. It was in the low country and the more like the coastal areas, PD or Grand Strand area. Now it kind of did a flip as you go into like the late morning now inside the upstate now, until eventually as you go into Friday like afternoon going into the evening, it shows cloud cover now pretty much taking over the entire state. And so that's obviously something to look for. Then as we get into Saturday morning, you can see there goes all this cloud cover coming in from the north and west. That has to do with our little snow system here, a little winter storm here. So kind of as you can see, like that little low center of circulation to where there's not really too much cloud cover inside of that center area right there in Georgia. Now moving off the coast. That is the low circulation right there, and pretty much what that is it's just showing the snow on the backside, showing the actual rainfall on the front side or the bottom side of it. And even if we go and look at our current temperatures right now, current temperatures being around a good 42 in Charleston, 37 in Somerville, as well as 42 in Beaufort, 37 in Georgetown, and 38 in Murray's Inlet, 37 in Myrtle Beach, and 32 in Conway, 33 in Florence, as well as 35 in Sumter, 37 in Orangeburg and Columbia, as well as 35 in Newberry, 37 in Greenwood, and even around a good 34 in Greenville, 34 in Spartanburg, and 33 in Gaffney, 30 York, 29 inside of Rock Hill, and even around a good 29 in Lancaster. Air quality for tonight looks like, for the most part, that we do in fact have some moderate areas. Everybody's inside the green except for these areas, like Augusta, over there inside like the northwestern low country, also over there inside of the PD area as well. We do in fact have some moderate activity going on over there. And so it looks like not quite unhealthy, but not inside the good category either. Low temperatures for tonight. Yes, these are real. 23 in Rock Hill, 22 in Cheraw, 23 in Dillon, even around a good 23 in Florence, 25 in Sumter, and 25 in Columbia, 25 in Newberry and Anderson, as well as 28 in Orangeburg, 27 in Aiken, and 30 in Walterboro, 29 Moncks Corner, and 30 in Georgetown, 31 Myrtle Beach, and 37 in Charleston. So those are our low temperatures for tonight. It just looks like that it's going to be another one of those frigid cold nights, especially if you're up there inside the upstate all the way over into the PD area. High temperatures for tomorrow: 44 in Greenville, 45 in Spartanburg, and 46 in Rock Hill, 48 Winsboro, and 50 in Camden, 52 in Columbia, and 52 in Sumter, 54 in Kingstree, 52 also inside of Georgetown, and 56 in Moncks Corner and Charleston, 58 inside of Walterboro, and 55 in Orangeburg, 53 in Aiken, and 58 in Hilton Head, and 52 in Georgetown, and 50 in Myrtle Beach. Now, what about 4-hour rainfall? For the next 24 hours, rainfall is not expected. Rainfall is not expected as we go into tonight, going into tomorrow. And so that's for now. Obviously, that will change. But for now, no rainfall tonight, tomorrow night, until around 7 o'clock p.m. ish. If we go on and look at the crazy score for tonight, if you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how crazy the weather is throughout the entire state of South Carolina. And right now, you can see that correctly. We are at a 56. Yes, a 56. Why? Well, dangerously cold temperatures. Lows dipping into the low 20s inland. And so we even will have some wind chill values down even lower. If we want to look at our nighttime wind chill values going into tonight, it's not the lowest that we've seen so far. Definitely not the lowest that we've seen, but it is still kind of a little bit of a dip for some areas. But wind chills won't be as bad as they have been. If you go back as well and talk about even in terms of the sky and humidity as well, it's going to be also a bit cloudy as well, kind of like a mix here and there. We talked about how it's going to be cloudy for much of the state, but then it will move down towards like the low country area, but then it will push back up into the upstate area like later tomorrow morning. Cloud cover also has to add into it as well. And so no precipitation or anything like that either. So it looks like that we are just sitting in that strong category as this dangerous cold continues to take over. SPC outlook for tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, nice and clear, nice and quiet. Nothing to watch for in terms of thunderstorm activity. Fire weather, same thing. And then in terms of excessive rainfall, right now, it just looks like that we are more inside of the quieter times in terms of excessive rainfall as well. So I think that we are good for that for right now, but obviously that's not the main area of concern, because now we're going to go on and talk about the models. So we're going to start off here with the HRRR first. And we'll go on and talk about, like the Euro. We'll go on and talk about as well the Icon GDPS, which is the Canadian one model as well. And we'll talk about all of them. But first, like I said, let's talk about the short-term future first and see what the short-term has to show before we get into this whole storm system here. So time is at the bottom part of your screen. Make sure you go in and pay attention to that. We're going to start off here at 9 o'clock p.m. And as we go and push this forward, you can see as we move all the way to 12 a.m., all the way over to around 2 a.m., 3 a.m., all the way through to around 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9. And it just continues to stay dry all the way through the noon time period. You go all the way to around 5 o'clock p.m., going all the way over to around 8 o'clock p.m., staying dry until we get to around like 7, 8 o'clock p.m., which is when our precipitation time frame for what we just saw earlier with the amounts of precipitation, that's when it cut off, 7 p.m. tomorrow, so it does not count this right here. But you see rainfall going on throughout the state, isolated showers going on. You see some scattered showers starting to pop up, and you also see some snowfall, not quite inside of the state yet, but it will be making its way down here at 11 o'clock p.m. right here on Friday. Snow ongoing throughout the upstate. Snow ongoing throughout the Midlands, throughout the PD areas as well. And so go all the way to 2 o'clock in the morning, all the way to 4 o'clock in the morning, and now pretty much it's just mostly all just snow going on inside of the upstate. We move all the way to 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. You're starting to see snow now moving into the Midlands a little bit. You're seeing some freezing rain and some sleet potentially going on closer to the coastal areas as you go into Saturday morning as well. You all the way to 10 a.m., 11 a.m., all the way to around the afternoon hours. This isn't, you're going to see that snowfall going on up there inside the upstate and more like the corner areas of the state. But that main amount of snowfall will really push through as you get into around like the evening time frame. Now, this doesn't look like the heaviest, in terms of snow. This looks almost more on the lighter to maybe more moderate side. But again, 40 something hours out, things will change. 47 hours out. And in terms of totals for what it says as we go throughout the next 48 hours, it actually does indeed say, in terms of total snowfall, not really as much as we are going to see throughout the whole time period, especially down here in the low country. But you see 3 inches over there near Columbia. You see 4.2 in Sumter. You see 0.6 in Myrtle Beach, 3 inside of Greenville, 2.3 inside of Anderson. And so, like I said, this is not the full system, but that's just the next 48 hours out, 47 hours out. And so what about the long-term future? We're going to start off here where we just ended off at. And you have this system right here. Actually, we may even push it back a little bit to see what time the GFS says that it arrives. It says that it arrives around the same time, though, pretty much, that the ARRR said. The more shorter-term model said it was going to arrive around, like, Friday, like late Friday night. And then you push that forward through all the way to around 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And you have snowfall going on throughout pretty much the state all the way throughout Saturday afternoon, throughout Saturday evening as well. You go into Sunday morning, and it's out of here by Sunday morning. But for right now, it looks like that this snowfall activity will kind of try to enter the state, like I said, between around Friday night and kind of leave on Saturday morning. So that seems to be the time frame right now. Now that's just from the GFS. What does the Euro say? The Euro says that as you get into around Friday night, that it's going to appear, around Friday night, Saturday morning again, just like all models are saying right now. And let me go and pull out my pen because I'm going to say something. I'm going to list my stuff that I'm the most confident on, and then list the stuff that I am the least confident on, and just put it all inside of a list real quick. But continue our way through. Saturday morning continues through. Snowfall going on throughout the entire state. Everybody's seeing snowfall. And then it goes all the way to around 1 a.m. Sunday, 7 a.m. Sunday. It's all gone. But this one is bringing some freezing rain and some sleet over there into the low country areas. It definitely is. And that might decrease the snow totals. That probably will try to decrease the snow totals because obviously the less, the more sleet that you get, the more freezing rain, the less snow. So that obviously will kind of bring down those totals a little bit. And as we go all the way through to around 7 o'clock p.m., 1 a.m. on Monday, this thing is completely gone. We go on right here, all the way through, back into the icon now. And we're going to start off again, Saturday, 1 o'clock in the morning here. You push that forward. Again, some more freezing rain going on, or some more snow, going on. All the way through Saturday, during the evening time. At this point, you go all the way to 1 a.m., all the way to 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, and it's still there until you get to around like the late morning, early afternoon. It finally moves up out of there for the most part. But that same time frame, Saturday morning going into Sunday morning. And then finally the GDP, or not, is this the GDPS? Yes, the GDPS over here for the Canadian model right here has it moving through. Guess what? Saturday morning, and it pushes through, brings in a good amount of snowfall, and then leaves Sunday. Actually, more like Sunday late morning. So that's just the timing of it. We weren't really showing totals, but now we're gonna go on and get into those totals. We're gonna look at it now, all the way into the winter weather, all the way into total snow now for the GFS right now, and it just shows for the most part that the majority of this snowfall will happen up here inside the PD areas. Now, the other models, at least not everyone looks like this, but shows almost like a foot over there inside of like Horry County. Shows around a good 5 over here near Sumter, 6 near Florence, 3 near Columbia, 3.7 or close to 4 near Greenville, 4 near Anderson, around a good 3 in Charleston. The more Tri-County area-ish, the more inland areas, trying to get to around 4 or 5-ish. And then over here, Hilton Head Island, more over towards the, like only just like an inch, and that's about it. Now that's just the GFS. What about the European model? Well, the European model actually is more on the more, if it can pull up, there we go. More on the central side, not really too much on the eastern side. where it has around a good 5 inches over here near Columbia. It has around a good 6 inches over there inside of the upstate. Same thing over here inside of Anderson. Moving down near Charleston, around 2 to 3 inches. More inland areas, 4 to 5. You have around a good 4 inches over there near Myrtle Beach, and the least amount down here inside of the more western, more lower low country areas, where it's only around an inch or two. Then as you move on towards the icon, this one being the more, in my opinion, probably more like the GFS, to where it shows almost getting close to a foot over there near the PD areas, going over to around 4 to 5 inches near Columbia. Maybe around like an inch or two near Charleston, only showing around 2 inches up there inside of like Greenville. Spartanburg over here around 5, Rock Hill getting to around 6, 7-ish or so, somewhere around there. And then maybe even around 2 inches over there near like Augusta, for example. And then finally, for the GDPS, being the Canadian model, has around a good like 4 to 5-ish inside of the Midlands, 7.3 over here inside of the more Florence area, 7 to 8-ish inches as well, 6 over here near Myrtle Beach, maybe getting to around 9 or 10 over there in some other areas, and then around 2 to 3-ish over there inside the upstate, and then also near Charleston as well, around 2 to 3, more inland areas, in like the inland tri-county areas, around 3 to 4-ish. So if you just go in and try and just combine, you can go in and look at your area and see, how much snowfall, for example, is in your area. And I can show you right now. If I go in and take Charleston, for example, on the GFS, it says 2.6. You go over into the European, it says 2.9. And then if you go on even further, and go back into the icon, it says only 1.6, so we're going to do 1.6. And then moving on over into the GDPS, showing 2.1. So overall, that's around 9.2 if I added all of them together. Divided by 4, I mean, that's an average between all the models in Charleston, around 2.3 inches of snowfall. Now, that's just from models. Again, if you go over into the actual snowfall forecast from the National Weather Service, look at that, 2.4. So very close to what the models were saying on a 2.3 basis there. But you can see over the next 3 days, after when the storm system is passing, you see around 6 in that Greenville, Spartanburg, 8 near Rock Hill, 8.5 near Chifraw, 6 near Columbia. But then the more you get down towards like that very southwestern or very just southern part of the state, that's when you start to see that decrease in terms of snowfall activity. So the more that you are more towards the northern part of the state, and the more towards like the northern PD areas, is probably going to be the area that's probably going to try and get the most amount of snowfall. Maybe even that area could potentially even shift west or east. Honestly, it could be either way, west or east. And we even saw some that showed Myrtle Beach trying to get around a good 10 inches. I think the icon showed Myrtle Beach getting around 10 inches of snow. So it's all possible. It is definitely all possible. So if we go back to the models now, I want to go in and just list my stuff real quick and just list and see and show you what I am and, how confident I am in this stuff right here and occurring. So we're going to go in and look at this right here. Here's my pen right here. The thing that I am the most confident about, is that snow will happen. Okay, snow will happen over here inside of the state. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious at this point. Snow will occur throughout the state. Will it be heavy as in areas of others? Obviously not. But I do think that everyone at least will try to get some flurries, though, as you go into like the next 3 days or so. So that's one of the things that I'm the most confident about, is that snowfall will happen. 2, the timing. I'm definitely confident that this thing will start Friday night going into Saturday morning, and it will end on Sunday morning. That is when I am kind of like the second most confident in, is the timing of it being it's going to enter in, like I said, Friday night going to Saturday morning, and then push its way out Sunday. That's number two. Number three, the thing that I'm a bit less confident on, but I think we have a little bit of an idea on, is totals. Like I said, we're still not too certain on that yet in terms of exact totals. Totals are still changing by each model run, so I'm not gonna, straight up say, oh, well, it's gonna be like this. Like, Myrtle Beach is gonna see 10 inches of snowfall, but it looks like this area right over here is going to be the more impacted area as of now. And then four, the thing that I do also want to add is the type of precipitation, that being snowfall, ice, that being sleet, that being just regular rainfall in general, because that definitely can go on and change up your snow totals a lot. Because if you have freezing rain instead of snow, well, that's less time for you to go on and get snow. So that's definitely something that you're also going to have to pay attention to as well. But these are my four. These are my four kind of things that I'm the most confident in. From one, everybody will at least see some flurries at least. I'm most confident in that. Two, timing. Very confident in timing. Three, totals, not too confident. Four, type. It's looking like that ice could definitely be possible. Like, even if we go on into the ice forecast, ice accumulation, 107 inches to a tenth of an inch of ice possible in Kingstree and Dillon. But if you looked at the European model said that some freezing rain definitely was possible in the low country, and some sleet as well possible in the low country. So again, I think that's also still kind of all over the place right now. I think that's still all over the place. But I think that's about all that I have to say in terms of this snow update here. And so we're going to go on now and talk about even further into the future. So even past this storm, what are we going to see through that time frame? So I'm going to go in and pull up the precipitation type again. Make sure this is the GFS. It is. So we're going to go on and continue even past the storm system right here. If you go on and push this forward even more, looks like for the most part that we'll continue to stay dry all the way throughout Tuesday, going into Wednesday of February the 4th, until maybe some rainfall, definitely like a little cold front maybe trying to push its way through Wednesday of next week. Thursday comes along, Friday comes along, definitely dry. It's going to be a dry week next week for the most part, seems. Even as you go into Monday of the 9th here, this is the day after the Super Bowl. This is Super Bowl Sunday right here, nice and dry, nothing going on there. Going into Monday, Tuesday, February the 10th. That is snow, again, that you see. But again, 288 hours out. So things will change over and over and over again. But right now, snowfall is there. Snowfall is there. And then as you continue it forward even through the 13th going into the 14th, rainfall tries to move throughout the region. But again, that's 300 plus hours out. So I'm not banking on that at all. In fact, I'm going to guarantee that it will not happen like that at all. And then also, one more thing before we go on and talk with the audience is that I do want to go and look at these temperatures, because these are definitely going to be a huge issue as we go into the next couple of days. So, you start off here Thursday night, right? We start off here. You're seeing the temperatures I was just talking about earlier. So you're like, okay, this is relatively normal. We've seen temperatures like this. It's going to get colder than this. It will. You want to push this forward. You go all the way into Friday. And this is Friday afternoon right here. You're seeing temperatures in the 50s. You maybe even see some, let's see, is that the 60s right there? Very close to the 60s inside like the western low country area like tomorrow. But that goes through. But then we have that cold air that moves its way through Friday night going into Saturday morning. We're seeing freezing temperatures all the way throughout the upstate at 7 a.m. Not too shocking. We get to 10 a.m. and you start to see some more freezing temperatures bring their way down. And so one of the reasons why they were talking about the potential for some sleet, especially the European model, is just because these temperatures kind of right here, that boundary right here that just goes from freezing to non-freezing, that could potentially impact it. But if you go on even to around 10 o'clock p.m. on Saturday, things definitely drop. I mean, we're seeing single digits without even wind chills even being a factor in this at all. And so That goes through Sunday afternoon. I mean, a lot of people are still not even going to get above freezing at all on Sunday. We go into Monday morning, temperatures single digits. Yes, single digits again, and that's without wind chills. So now let's go in and add wind chills to the factor. Now let's go in and add it as a potential, kind of like more of like a potential factor to this whole scenario. You go all the way into around 1 o'clock p.m. on Saturday. You're seeing wind chills already in the teens at 1 o'clock p.m. on Saturday. You go on and push that forward 7 p.m. on Saturday. You're seeing 5 degrees. Okay. You're seeing teens over there inside the Midlands, inside the PD areas, even in Charleston. You're seeing 19 degrees in terms of wind chill. But then it spreads, and it spreads more and more and more. And we get to Sunday at 7 o'clock in the morning. You're seeing wind chills down near 9 over here inside of like the Tri-County area of Dorchester, Berkeley, and Charleston County. You're seeing 6 near Myrtle Beach. You're seeing 5 near Florence. You're seeing 4 near Columbia. You're seeing 8 near Augusta. You're seeing -2 near Greenville and Spartanburg. You're seeing also that near Anderson as well. And that all goes into Sunday morning. So yes, negatives will be definitely a potential issue as we go throughout this weekend. And so I can even show you from the official National Weather Service as well. They have their forecast out for wind chills, and it shows pretty much exactly what I was just saying. You go into those wind chills for the next 3 days. These are the coldest wind chills throughout the next 3 days, from Friday, 7 o'clock in the morning, to Monday at 7 o'clock in the morning. And look where your location is. I mean, zeros to negatives to, I think the highest one that I see is over there near Hilton Head Island, near 10. Maybe a little bit further inland, it could be a little bit more, but you see 7 near Charleston, you see 2 near Myrtle Beach, you see 1 near Columbia, -2 Camden, -6 in Greenville, -3 in Rock Hill. And these are these wind chills that we're going to be looking at with wind obviously applied to it, which is the reason why it's called wind chills. So I think that that's going to be a main factor. And I know, like I said, and I say this every night, but I really do mean this. A lot of people may just be looking at the snow aspect of it and thinking, oh, snow, all that kind of stuff. We get to go outside play in the snow. We get to go on and do this. We get to go on and do that. But these cold temperatures are just as important, if not potentially even more important, especially because we live inside of South Carolina. So this is definitely, in my opinion, just on par, like I said, if not more than the snow factor, just because of how dangerous these temperatures are throughout the state. And so this is definitely going to have to be something that you prepare for, rather be making sure that you have other heating sources, rather, making sure that just in case the power does go out, you have something that you can use. If you have to go outside and sit in your car, wherever it be, or wherever it may be, or whatever you have to do to go on and stay warm as you go throughout this weekend, that's going to be something that has to be on your priorities as you go throughout this weekend and going to like the end part of this week, even into tomorrow as well. Just make sure that you have something just in case. And so that's all that I pretty much have to say for the long-term future. I am about ready to go on and talk with the audience at this point, and we meant to go do the drought monitor thing, the drought monitor update, which I'm going to have to go in and put that poll back inside the chat because my internet went out the last time. So I'll actually do that right now, so I don't forget to go on and do that. So before we go and do that, do drought predictions. Option 1, drought remains. Drought grows. Option 2, the drought has stayed the same / shrunk. Option number 3, drought and abnormally dry, drought is gone, abnormally dry remains. And then option number 4, drought and abnormally dry is gone. Alright, there you go. So that's now put inside the chat now. So if you want to go in and vote inside that poll again, because obviously the last one wasn't saved. But let's go in and look at the audience now, and let's go on and not waste any more time. We're going to start off with Mr. Oliver, who says, welcome back. That was from earlier. Well, thank you so much for that. And then Trail says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. Let me go ahead and switch that. There it is. Mr. Oliver says, do you think that they will close school on Monday, Joseph? Will it be Black Ice Nightmare Monday? Probably, in my opinion. I mean, if it, yeah, which I think it will. I think it will snow down here. And if it does, like I said, I mean, you saw some of those low temperatures, some of those wind chills as you went into this weekend. I mean, I don't think that the roads are going to have enough time to recover Sunday during the day and then go back and refreeze again Sunday night where temperatures are potentially down into like the teens, 20s. So I don't think that it's going to have that much time to recover. I think that schools probably will be closed on Monday. I mean, that's just my opinion. Like I said, whatever school district in your area does, that's whatever they do. But in my opinion, I think that they will. I think that they will close schools probably on Monday though. Mr. Chris says I'm back. Well, glad that you are. Smokey Cole says welcome back. Thank you so much for that. Mr. Oliver says I sent a video and a picture. I will go on and show that. Mr. Chris says currently it's 38 degrees here in Moncks Corner. Well, thank you so much for that weather update. He also says please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free and it helps the channel grow. Now is a good time to help get vital information out. He's absolutely correct, especially with those temperatures as well dipping down into like single digits, negatives. Yeah, that's definitely a crucial time for us to go on and get that information out. And did my thing just, it did. Okay. Mr. Chris has been getting alerts all day, saw we're under a winter storm watch. I almost just showed the drop monitor there for a second. Almost revealed it early. Yes, I did in fact see that. And I will go on and talk about that at the very end. We'll go on and talk about that at the very end. So we'll go on and look at that. Let me go on and see real quick. Again. And then also, Smokey Cole says my PC alerted of a snowstorm. Yeah, it definitely is. Going to impact us here inside of the state. And then Maya Lewis says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Hopefully everyone had a great day. Well, I did. Thank you so much for asking. And then as you continue our way down, hopefully we won't get too much snow here in Georgetown. It says around an inch. I mean, you're in a bit of a interesting zone. I think that you'll probably get more than an inch. But for right now, whatever. I don't know what forecast you're looking at. If you're looking at a phone app, I would probably disregard that because I do not like phone apps, weather pages. I don't think that they're kind of unreliable and not really the best. That's just my opinion, though. I don't really like phone weather apps that much. So if it was from a phone weather app, I wouldn't really take that into too much account. But that's just me. And then also, as we continue our way down even more, Mr. Chris says, woke up this morning, there was frost on my truck. I think it was the same thing on my car today, but not really too much on the windshield. I think it was actually starting to form a bit on the windshield, but I actually had to go out early, so before it even formed that much, I was already pretty much gone, already had the heat on and going, so it didn't really impact me much. Maya Lewis says, today in Georgetown, our high was 51 degrees. Well, thank you so much for that, where you are with that. High temperature at my house was around 52. Mr. Chris says, we didn't even reach 50. That says, currently 63. Good evening, Joseph and the 360 weather family. It is t-shirt weather here in San Antonio. Current holding steady at 63. No wind right now. Well, thank you so much for that weather update, and hello to you. Maya Lewis says, well, didn't see any frost, but I did see some frozen water in the ditch. Seems about right. Mr. Chris said the news was saying that Moncks Corner could have anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. I can agree with that. Probably 2 to 4 inches. I could agree with that. Let's see. Maya Lewis says, like I said before, Georgetown should get some snow on Saturday morning, either Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, going into like the evening time. I mean, it could be anywhere throughout that time frame. And just, from wherever it starts at. And so that's another thing that we're going to talk about, especially as we get into tomorrow night, is we're going to talk about the timing for everybody, seeing when each region is going to go on and start getting that snowfall, when each region is going to go on and start getting rid of that snowfall. And leaving on Sunday morning. So, we'll see what happens there. That's, I trust you and everyone watching right now is safe. Well, I am right now. Maya Lewis says freezing rain is worse than getting snow. I do agree with that. Guro says, love seeing your updates. Keep it up. Well, thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate that message. And then my Aunt Lewis says, nephew, you are doing a great job informing us of what's going on in our areas. Thank you. No problem. No problem at all. Obviously, this is nothing that's paid for. This is all for free. So, I'm not getting paid for doing this. This is all pretty much just to make sure that all people are informed about what's going on throughout the state. So let's go on now, before we get into San Antonio, Raleigh, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. Let's go on and look at the drought monitor. So if you have no idea what the drought monitor is, the drought monitor pretty much is a prediction that we go on and look at. And we see pretty much just what's the drought looking like throughout the state. And so when we go on and look at that drought monitor, we make a little game out of it. We'll see who can go on and guess the correct forecast. So right now, it's inside the chat already. I'm about to go on and read them out. 0% says that the drought has grown. 75% says that the drought has stayed the same / shrunk. 0% says that the drought is gone, but the abnormally dry remains. And we have somebody very optimistic who says that the drought and the abnormally dry is gone. So I'm going to go in and make my prediction right now. Then we'll go in and talk about, like I said, San Antonio, Raleigh, Philadelphia, and then Duncan as well. But let me go and make my prediction real quick. Then we'll have a little drum roll. Then we will go on and get that stuff taken care of. So if I go in and look at the observations, I go on and look throughout like the past 7 days, and I look and I'm like, okay, what's going on throughout the past 7 days, because this is based off of a week time span, and see what's going on here. Well, if we go throughout the past 7 days or so, I'm going to be completely honest with you. It was a good amount, definitely inside the upstate and the Midlands. But if you go in and look at the low country and the PD areas, look at this. Like barely anything. And now temperatures were below freezing for a lot of the time. And so that also kind of adds a factor into it as well. But I'm mainly just looking at that because everyone's inside of a drought right now. We already made that clear. Everybody's inside of a drought right now. So that's nothing that, it's not really too far-fetched. But I'm just going to throw it out there and say that the drought has shrunk. I'm going to be a part of the majority who says that the drought has stayed the same / shrunk. I don't think that it really grew that much. I actually think that it actually may have shrunk. I definitely don't think that the drought is gone. The drought is definitely still here. So I'm so sorry to the 25% who chose that the drought is gone. But yeah, I don't think that that's the case at all. Probably is not the case, most likely. So let's go and get a drum roll real quick, and then we're going to reveal it. Yeah, that's definitely stayed the same / shrunk. So, congrats to me and the majority who got it correct. So right now, it looks like that the drought up there inside of like the very far upstate from Pickens County to Oconee County and Greenville County definitely went down. And I think that definitely has to do with that snowfall, that winter weather that happened a bit earlier. That definitely possibly had a bit of a impact on it as well. And then just any sort of other rainfall events that occurred up there. That definitely brought it down a little bit. But if we go in and look at the past one, and we go back and look at last week's, definitely a huge decrease down. So this is good. We want to see that. We want to see a decrease, but we all still need rain. That's something that definitely should not even be a question for anybody. We all still need rain, for sure. As everybody, except for like up there now inside of northern Oconee counties, Pickens County, Greenville counties, it all looks like right now that we are all still inside of a drought right now. And everybody else just stays around the same. So let's go on now and talk about the full locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, full location, what am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 4 areas is because we have people from these areas who talk almost every night and tune in almost every night, showing their support to the channel. And their main area isn't even South Carolina, but yet they still show their support either way. So we're going to go on and talk about them real quick and their areas of interest. So we're going to start off with San Antonio first. Low temperatures tonight at 41. High temperatures tomorrow at 59. Low temperatures tomorrow night around a good 33-ish or so. Around a good 33. In terms of your future, I mean, you have no severe weather, no excessive rainfall. It will cool down a little bit going into around like Saturday-ish or so, but it will definitely warm back up, especially as you go into next week. Tuesday, high of 72. So you'll be back up for sure. You will 100% be back up. In terms of Raleigh, North Carolina, you have low temperatures tonight at 20, high temperatures tomorrow at 38, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around a good 19. Yes. No precipitation tonight. Tomorrow, slight chance of snow, and then snow is likely tomorrow night. So you will see that snowfall as you go into tomorrow as a winter storm watches out for you, and it will be extremely cold, especially as you go into Saturday night and a Sunday morning, as you'll see some gusty winds with some snow, as well as you go into Saturday night going into Sunday. And then that will just continue to drop your temperature. You'll get into next week and you will warm up, but, it's only going to be in the 40s for highs. If we go on now and look at Raleigh, North Carolina being the third location with low temperatures tonight at 6, high temperatures tomorrow at 17, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 1 degree. Yes, just 1. That's it. Still, I've never had a negative on here yet. I'm still waiting on that to see when that happens. But for right now, it looks like that you have a cold weather advisory for tonight. I mean, pretty self-explanatory. You have wind chill values down into the negatives tonight, tomorrow, Friday night, Saturday, probably even around Saturday night as well. So it's just going to continue for you at this point to just get these cold conditions. Saturday night and Sunday, you also do have a chance of snow as well. And then finally for Duncan, Oklahoma, you have low temperatures tonight at 18, high temperatures tomorrow at 42, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 9. It's going to be really cold tomorrow night. Chance of flurries, though, as you go into tomorrow night as well. So you will see some snow going on, but, nothing really accumulating at all. So, honestly, I'd just be looking out for them just to see, maybe just for like a little show. But, like I said, nothing too crazy there. And that's about all for these 4 locations outside of South Carolina. What's going on throughout the entire U.S. in terms of weather news right now? It looks like that a powerful Arctic blast will bring dangerous cold, record low temperatures to the Gulf Coast, Upper Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and the Southeast into this weekend. A rapidly deepening storm center just off North Carolina coast Friday night through Saturday night will produce widespread heavy snow and wind from the southern Appalachians across the Carolinas and southern Virginia. And that's also another thing that you're also going to have to pay attention to. If I go in and look at the winter storm watches out, the winter storm watches out throughout the state, they all say, except for, I believe, the National Weather Service at Charleston, but they all say wind gusts of up to 25 to 30-ish miles per hour. That's what Greenville-Spartanburg says. What does Columbia say in the Midlands? It says wind gusts as high as 35. Like I said, Charleston does not say anything. It just says snow and heavy snow potentially possible. And then, for the most part, over here inside of the Wilmington area, inside like the PD and the Grand Strand areas, total snow accumulation between 5 to 8 inches and locally higher amounts. Light layers of ice may precede the snowfall as well, but nothing in terms of wind there either. So I think that gusty winds definitely could also potentially be a bit of an issue, and that will also cause the potential for those wind chills to get going. But that's all that I have to say for tonight. I've been here for long enough. Obviously I was stopped by technical difficulties, so that's why I'm here so late for tonight. But hopefully I got all the information I need to get across. Nothing else really for me to say here. Let me see what else we have. My Aunt Lewis says I got the drought question correct for a change. Well, that's great to hear. Glad to hear that you got that correct. Top fans of the night for tonight, Mr. Chris at number 1. I believe my Aunt Lewis was at number 2. And then Miss Tolliver was at number 3. Yes, Miss Tolliver was at number 3. So congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fans, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. And then also being a subscriber, being active inside the chat, being early. That will also help you get your chances up as well. But that's all that I have for tonight. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow morning for your Friday morning forecast update. And also, like I said, hit those 2 buttons. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 700. We're at 681. 19 away. and share with your friends, your family members, acquaintances, people that you don't even talk to like that, because it helps us out over here. Everyone have a fantastic rest, like I said, of your Thursday, and I'll be back tomorrow morning.